Hi, I'm Abhijit Bansod. I'm graduate of NID in 1998. I've done my product design there. I worked with Titan Industries Limited for 10 years. Did many watches. Almost to point I thought I'll become a watchman of a country or something like that. But it was an amazing experience because Titan was one of the sort of design-led company in that time, and there are many today. The experience of Titan was really finding India in watchmaking, and we transformed heritage. We got Indian architecture into watches. We transformed Raga. We transformed Fast Track to great extent. And my journey was always been what you read here, and I see Desi, and then that's how the Desiness in design. Desi is what you call it's a. How do you define Desi to him? Being Indian, the word is called. You're Desi and Pardesi. You are a Pardesi because you're a foreigner. I am Desi when I'm local. So idea was that Desi was always a part of design. If you spell the thing, and that's what it says. I see Desi. And interesting thingly that we always ignored that because our education was Bauhaus, and and it was influenced by. All product designers wanted to do cars, all product designers wanted to do vacuum cleaner which looked like a Euro rail, but we could never use the vacuum cleaner in Indian homes. So there was a disconnect between what was our aspiration was and who we truly are. And it's only going through last 18 years, I'm coming to terms with our own life, saying that that's amazing things we have, and if you could celebrate that, that will be a very fulfilling thing. Because design is not object, it's a cultural statement, and it comes from within. If you look at IKEA, if you look at, it started from almost a movement of, social movement in some sort. Look at the Japanese design philosophies, and we ask what is Indian design philosophy. I'm sure we'll have many answers to that. We really don't know what that stands for. But there were certain way we lived. There's a certain way we believed in cyclic life. And I think that has a lot of influence in my thinking and my work. So here my career started with Titan, where I had to work with craft from Etiko Pakka, similar to Chennapatna. You see the lacquered toys. In Etiko Pakka, he's the original inventor of vegetable dyes on toys. So these are turned toys. I'm sure you heard or seen many of these lacquered toys from Indian, craft. So this was a very challenging project, and this was 1998, where you are working with the precision watchmaking company, where perfection and that is epitome. You cannot go lower than that, and you're bringing a handcraft product to sort of come together and really exist, and then they really go out to the market. So we did more than 5,000 of these at that time, and it was a different challenge. You go to the villages, there was no connectivity. Try and work with the tools they will understand. Try to convince R&D saying that it's going to work. Don't worry about that. It will fit into that. How do you innovate on industrial processes so that the craft coexist? And I have these watches still after 18 years. They look as new as this. It's amazing, and that they really sort of they aged with the time, but the whole concept of newness with this Apple phone and different things we have of perfection is very different than product which grew with us. There are little scratches, there are little cracks which is natural on a wood, but they tell the story, they tell the age, they emote emotions, when you look at that. Hence, I'm more emotionally connected to them than even iPhone, because I know iPhone 7, then iPhone 8. So this sort of whole cycle of consumerism is inbuilt in us, and sort of look for new, and that obsession of new, obsession of possessing so many things. So this is where I started my true journey of understanding. At this time, I did not understand much of India because I was a young designer. I wanted to come in Domus magazine, I wanted to come in ID magazine. It wasn't my priority of really going into that. But slowly I realized that this is where we are, and if we cannot celebrate where we come from, I don't think anyone's going to listen to us, because I cannot sit here and design for Europe, because there are better European designers understand their context in cultural way. So this is where the journey started, and so three aspects of our life are extremely important. One is culture, which is, and that pride really comes from, there are many factors to that. So I did in 2001 Heritage Collection, which was a journey of inspiration on Indian architecture for watches. Every year I used to take to the boardroom and Bhaskar will say, not this year, not this year. It took 6 years for Titan to launch that collection. But he called me and said that today when we're launching, it's a success because India is ready for India. You know, and because it's economic growth, IT, a lot of people travel abroad, all of a sudden the sense of belonging started becoming much higher, you know. And you live within the same pond, you do not have any sense of belonging. You take things for granted. And that's what, you know, what do you, you know, it's there, you know, what do you take it for granted? We take it for granted our life, and we ape something else, and then we realize that our mom is the best sustainability ambassador for all her life, you know. Probably managed her life with just 6 saris, and even if there is money, she's not going to buy anything, she's not going to waste the food, she'll just cook enough that the family will only eat and it gets cleaned up at the end of the day. So there are some things we look back and then we realize that, you know, this is where the sort of a very strong culture, what we have, whether it's way of life, whether it's beliefs, whether it's karma and so on and so forth, you know. So along with this, so cultures gives you amazing stories which people would like to, thank you sir, people will want to know because they're not about your products. We are sharing stories, we are sharing cultural discourse through our products. And this is, if you look at, so many of the products have done, you know, I mean propaganda is a very big word, but they have used product design, they used communication design to promote or share. And if you look at without any money, yoga, Ayurveda, Bollywood and curry is gone abroad, you know, and in such a big way. No one has put the money on that because they're genuinely good practices or products which are, you know, gone from us. So this is the power. Without any design intervention, without any advertisement, these things have gone and become a global norm. And 21st June is a yoga day, it's become, you know, from last year. So culture gives you stories, and design is important intervention because it brings, I mean, it's sort of, you merge the two, you know, something for future and you take something from back and you find some relevance to today's something. And then, so design is an extremely important part of our life. And being designer, I mean, nothing else I know more than, you know, doing something around that. Seeing things with curiosity, you know, using those material with abundance, you know, with just enough sort of specifications on that. So design really brings those elegance, and design brings character, design brings, build the DNA of a company's, I mean, you can close your eyes and touch the Apple product, I'm sure you'll recognize it's Apple. You look at any product and you'll say it may be from IKEA. You see no brand and you see it's a Muji product today, you know. And there's so many stories which are design induced in the thing. So design sort of brings human element to the entire thing, you know. I mean, that's the sort of word, you know, I like, because we don't think about profitability when you start sketching. It's the only profession which deals with ambiguity with happiness and with the completely focus on user. And user could be you, user could be anyone. We talk about what user will like. It's not about will he buy more because of this. Your intent doesn't start with that. And one of the big thing happened in last 10 years is technology. I think no one can ignore technology today in our design process or thinking. And amazing examples of how technology is a democratic equalizer are 2 examples I would like to take. One is in Facebook. You know, in my time, in my 10 friends in 2000, there will be only 2 smart people in a group who will talk, right? And they will be known in the whole college. Other 8, you didn't even know the name of them, you know. But if you look at Facebook, what is done is that you find your own group. You can publish what you want to say. And there are people who accept you saying that, hey, I like what you do. So it's a platform of, it's democratizing, you know, sort of views and point of view. What Uber is done of gamification of that, where you give stars to the driver and driver gives you stars for how the customer was. I think it's amazing. Your engagement with the taxi driver has completely changed after Uber has come. Rather than being with anxiety and things we dealt with earlier. So technology has created this amazing access, and these 3 is what we I try and focus in the design process, what we really follow on, bring empathy, access, and, you know, the stories. Without them, they get to either technology product or they just become, oh, just another design because that story is not coming. Technology also brings sense of progressiveness because we have accepted that we have to grow every year, whether it's business or a reach or an audience or whatever that could be. So we started, this started as a collection, it's called Mubi, and it's a spoonerism of Bhumi. So it's sort of Bhumi saying it's spoonerism Mubi, and the tagline is be materialistic. So we don't want to give up materialism, but finding materialistic, and that's a soil in Hindi, if you guys know in that. So sort of bringing that story. So we want, and we've taken a challenge to only work with Indian handicraft or a creative manufacturing, what Neelam had sort of said that word, which is very interesting. We treat them as an equal partner in development. We do not want to take, saying that, oh, I have to work with craftsmen. And none of our products they bring their product and we bring technology in different forms, whether it's manufacturing or not. So Mubi will focus on Indian way of life and Indian stories because that's what I know the best and that's what we all know the best. I don't know the other culture as much as I know about my own life. And looking it back, so this is where the whole thing of what you're seeing, 40% European consumer looking for sustainable practices. So this is this urban rush, of people want an alternate to the mainstream manufacturing, mass manufacturing, telling stories where it's come from, the origin, bringing the human emotion that it is a fair practices, it worked for everyone. So that's the whole focus of bringing local heritage and universal values. That's the idea of sort of behind the movie. So one of the products we have is, you can guess that it's piercing through something, and this is inspired by Thaipusam. Thaipusam is the ritual where they pierce the body, they pass very big needles from here to there. So this is a single bud vase. It sort of holds through the table, so it looks like it's piercing through. And it's a very simple product, when it looks like that. So this is again done in various Indian crafts. So it separates and it connects, that's what, and its name is Always. And there's a story of that, whether you put 20 flowers or one flower, it brings the same thing. So why don't you live with one flower, because it's simpler to manage. You can extend the life of that. There's a little sort of test tube in that. The whole packaging also tells the whole story of splitting. So when you get the product, when you open it up, the whole packaging splits. So that's what you get the idea of that. And when you put together, it's got a very powerful magnet on both sides really to hold it together. That connects in that. Where it's manufactured, yes. So it's manufactured in Etikopakka and Chennapatna. There are two places where vegetable dyes work happen. If you look at we really use high technology, we use Pro-E, we do all the engineering drawing, then we try and go to the craftsman to really work, because we do not work independent. We have at least two crafts or a technology and a craft come together in product. So it's got a very powerful magnet. So if you look at the map of where all things come from, so we designed this magnet with the hole because we didn't want to use glue, so that the separation of the material will be easier at the end of the life. So you can just remove the screw, magnet comes out, wood goes to wood, magnet goes to magnet. So we got this special magnet designed in China, so that comes from China. It goes to Etikopakka for the cones, then it goes to Jaipur for either a miniature painting, those are all hand painted characters, or a gold foil transfer onto that. So that's how the whole journey of things, and it uses a polypropylene. We used to use glass earlier, test tube, but there are a lot of breakages, and so we are not averse to using different industrial processes, but we are aware what we're using, and we're using wisely with minimal intervention into that. These are the couple of more examples of our product, and there are cultural stories that, Angara is the Raksha which falls out of your incense stick, and it gets collected properly, it slides out, you can collect it at the bottom part, and then you dispose it in proper manner. Because there are certain stories, there are certain beliefs we have, and it's amazing that if we start celebrating our own life and own stories in that. We work with Muradabad a lot, and different things on Puja Thali. This is an interesting product of, it's like a Lego meeting Diwali Diya. So it's just a unitization of that which fits into each other, and you can build pyramid of that of any shape and any size, because it exactly starts fitting into each other. Again, this is completely terracotta. It's handcrafted near Jaipur. This is called Deep Stamba, which is inspired from Kerala. Deep Stamba, if you go to Kerala, temples have really big Deep Stambas on that. So again, it sort of uses Etiko Pakka as a craft, then some metal craft from Muradabad. It sort of really brings those whole value of together of opulence. So it's a sort of contemporary opulence, and we are not minimal country, I mean, though as much as we like, we want to design meaningful for others, but when you have to buy yourself, you end up buying, in the same thing, because a code or DNA is not that. So how do you not get ashamed of your opulence and start celebrating that in a manner where probably world will join you, like in yoga and Ayurvedas and Bollywood and curries. This is inspired, it's a flower pool, again in ceramic from Khurja in Uttar Pradesh. It's inspired by Rambagh Palace. There's a lovely fountain there, it's called Lotus Fountain. So I'll come back to the stories, and those were the products, and the whole thing about cyclic life and karma was it's always on my mind that, if this is the way we lived, that we always believe that every action I take has sort of a, is going to come back to me, reaction on myself or my being or collective being. Why can't we consider that in manufacturing? Why can't we consider in consumption? But if I start talking about karma, it becomes very preachy. Is now a technology intervention can really help me to practice my karma better? And this is where we're looking at, can technology give me instant karma in what sort of things we're doing around that? So karma is a voluntary consequence accepting behavior, and that's really the whole idea of this system design, that it covers environmental, human and social values. So it's a simple RFID band which sort of represents and tells the world that yes, I follow karma, and it helps you choose things wisely. You can do your own setting, that what is your own karma level while you're doing that. It helps you to, it will block certain products which don't fit into your karma philosophy, which you chosen earlier. So it gets connected to your credit card, it gets connected to in the shopping mall, that it will sort of indicate you that, hey, this product doesn't fit your value system because this is exploited in China, or whatever reason you give. But the system doesn't tell you what to do. You choose your own level of that, because that's what we believe, that you choose your own karma and you face your own consequences at the end of it. So one of the product which starts for kid, and this is what we're trying to build, is it's called Karma Tree, and it's a very simple tree. We have a little app sort of we're going to develop for that. So each color denotes something for a kid, of the positive things he's done or any task or any actions. And once he gets tree full, his app starts filling it up, and sort of he can redeem the gift which people have, parents have given. But the idea is that you do not get them free of cost. You have to earn those points to really do that. Another way of looking at it, the way we lived earlier, was Kabadiwala used to come and buy all our materials. Is there a way we can find the intervention of technology in that? So it's called Invest, and it's just a wall hanging collection thing, the dry garbage or a dry material collection at home. As you start putting things in that, it will show you the value in rupees to you. Because today I still sell newspaper to the recycle guy, and I earn, my daughter earns 120, 150 rupees a month on that, and it goes to her kitty in there. So they start seeing the value of, okay, let me clean this up. So she's worried about whether newspaper kept properly, because she knows she's going to earn the money through that. So will that tell me that? And then, so the system designed the little app, so which you can, once it's filled, you can text him. He comes with that, he takes the bags, and you taken care that you washed them, you dried them, you segregated them nicely. He pays you cash and he goes away. You're helping the whole system to really add. So converting those practices we've been doing for years in the sort of going back into the system and using it again. So just a little story of a person, Adi, and how he lived and how this karma thing impacts on that. So Adi is a small boy, and he does interesting thing. He gets to whatever he does he takes care of the plants. He gets 5 points for that, and then as he sort of grows and plays with the thing, he starts seeing his tree getting filled up. As he grows up, he becomes more helpful because he's seen benefiting doing right things. If I do right things, here I'm earning gifts, I'm earning right things. So he's sort of inculcating this knowingly, unknowingly into the whole system. It could use the technology like face recognition. You find somebody helping on the road, you can tag, and I'm sure technology can actually identify whose account, and you can actually say he did a good job. I think those points get sort of accumulating, and so Adi grows up, but he's the same guy because he wants to believe that I'm doing good because I enjoy doing good. I get benefited because that's the way I believe in my karma. He's an activist, so that's why I said environment, social, and all the practices he does. But when he buys the stuff, he has to pay the price, so it becomes a -20. But he can choose a wiser material. He can choose responsibly. Again, he goes and recycles it. So when he goes and recycles it, again he earns the point. So whole system is networked with each other, talk to each other. It tells you what fits. Oh, that is -7 because it's come all the way from China, all the way from some other country. This is a local produce, it has a less impact on environment. Choose this product. Builds up to, again, he does every right thing, earns, every wrong thing goes out. But that's happening at the back of the system, and at the end, accumulatively, you will earn some amazing points. He goes for a job, and that's the difference he'll find, that he's plus 500 and all of them are -20s, because he's practiced this karma and, in many ways for good things. Including the person who hires the right guy gets the points. It's really building up the whole ecosystem around the way of life and using the technology to really build the thing. So that's the sort of karma story, and it was what goes around. Now it instantly comes back, comes around. I mean, that's really sort of put things together, that how things could really come together. That's about it. I have. I'm not sure how it helped, but yeah.